12 million pounds of meat and poultry were recalled over possible Listeria contamination. A nationwide recall of meat and poultry products potentially contaminated with Listeria has expanded to nearly 12 million pounds and now includes ready-to-eat meals sent to U.S. schools, restaurants, and major retailers. The updated recall includes prepared salads, burritos, other foods sold at places like Costco, Trader Joe's, Target, Walmart, Kroger. And the meat used in these products were processed at one facility in Durant, Oklahoma. And while no illnesses have been confirmed in connection with this recall, about 1,600 people are infected every year with Listeria. And frankly, 260 people die each year, according to the CDC. Chad, had you heard about this food recall, and do you shop at any of the places that are saying they might have that food?
Yeah, I actually had heard about it, and then you and I were kind of talking off air a little bit. Coincidentally, yesterday I was at one of the listed retailers here yesterday, and there were plenty of eggs in the counter there, if you would, for sale. But certainly, one of the things that, and I've seen it in my lifetime, that we all take for granted is the safety of our food. The USDA, we can't talk high enough about what they do in regards of keeping our food supply safe. It's only until you see issues like this that you realize that that's happening out there in the background, and thank goodness it is, Vance.
Well, I completely disagree with you on the USDA is the thing that keeps us so safe. I think that meat producers want to produce a safe product, and they make mistakes. And I think that oftentimes a big thing that's going on, and this was a conversation going on X, was we're paying people so cheap because consumers are so unwilling to pay high prices for meat that we produce it cheaply. And then you have all these circumstances where you have people that are maybe not the most skilled, or you're making them work too long, or they're not doing the cleanup that they have to do. So when I look at a huge recall like this, I think of when I was living in Africa, and everybody was worried that their corn had been contaminated with aflatoxin. And I remember how scary that was, because they were like, you can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't cook it away, there's nothing you can do, and if you get it, it's going to mess you up and may even kill you. And that made me realize that if you don't trust your food, to your point about having safe food, it is a scary thing, and it can make you do all kinds of weird things when you're wondering, is there something hidden in here? Is there something I should be afraid of?
Well, one thing's for sure that I've seen a lot here, maybe in the last 10 years, kind of maybe a little more to your point, is there's a lot of really good local, places that you can go and buy your meats that are not in big box retailers. And those businesses are thriving big time across the Midwest. Several of my friends that I know, one in particular, all his cattle goes to himself. He sells them privately. And there's a ton of that goes on now, way more than it was when maybe you and I were young. I mean, I don't know how it was for you, but when we grew up on our farm as a kid, you know what? We butchered our own hogs. And my dad would send them to the local butcher, and we would eat livestock that we raised. Well, now you're not doing that because it's too easy at Target or Walmart or Costco or wherever to just go put it in your cart. But the reality is, especially since COVID, there's a lot of farmers that have said, you know what? I don't care. They're going to pay for it, Vance, if they want it, and we're going to sell it to them. And I think that's one of the things that's really been nice locally. I know here locally, there's 2 or 3 of them I know that you can go to the local butcher shop, and I tell my wife that all the time. Their stuff is fantastic, and it's all local. So there's a good vein there. Yeah.
One of the best things to come out of COVID was when people saw, oh, hey, the supply chains can actually get wrecked, and then they went out and found people. I know for us, we started getting a regular supply of beef. And we had one of chicken. I'm actually open to one now. So if anybody is in the St. Louis area and has their own pasture-raised chicken, I'd be into that. But it is a fantastic component. And the more we can get regulations out of the way to make it as easy as possible, because I believe if you're a producer, if you're a butcher, your name is on that sign. And so you're going to take care of it way more than if we rely on huge, high-volume packing houses and being sold through big box stores.
Well, and a lot of things, too, it's regionalized, right? It's where you are in the country. I know a good farmer friend of mine in Central California. I visit them 2 or 3 times a year, and I'll never forget, this was probably 5 or 6 years ago, Vance, their doorbell rang, and I went, and there was nobody there, but there was a box. And in the box was their local was their local produce for the week. I mean, it was, and I'm like, well, we can't get that in Illinois, and we're laughing about it because we don't have those crops right here, Vance, right? I mean, you're a Midwest guy. But listen, in Central California, that's what they do. They don't go to the store and get vegetables. It's on their porch every week fresh. And he's like, we've been doing that for years, Chad. And I'm like, that's the coolest thing ever. You know?
It's a great thing. And, everybody wins in that circumstance. The farmer gets paid a lot closer to what it's worth, and the consumer gets to have high quality stuff that they didn't have to wait for.